Boundaries. Boundaries, y'all. That's what we're talking about today. My name's Ayin Kilimanjaro. I've kind of touched on this in a few of my other videos, but due to recent circumstances, it's caused me to have to go back and reevaluate this. Not with myself, just some things that I've observed, and I see the opportunity for it to be expounded upon. Boundaries. One of the things when you're trying to establish boundaries, especially if you're a person that you find this difficult to do, let me give you a hint. Let me give you a hint on what you don't want to do. You don't want to blur the lines with the people that you're having issues with boundaries around. You don't want to blur them even more so. You don't want to overindulge even more so. That's one way to back it up and assist you in reestablishing those boundaries. Meaning, let me preface this by saying this. I'm not saying you can't talk to people, not to share stuff, but sometimes people do, and they say just a little bit too much. It causes familiarity, and it causes boundaries to be encroached upon. Because you're just being so free and given with the information, you yourself, people, they just feel welcomed into your zone. They're overstepping the lines that you hadn't set up any lines. So any lines that would have been set up, they're overstepping them. Here's the thing about boundaries. A lot of people have to be reminded of them anyway. Because people, they're bringing their own self to the table, which they should. And their own self, I'm going to explain this. This is a lot of their experiences, the way that they were brought up. So it's not that certain things that people do may be wrong, but it may appear to be wrong in the eyes of other individuals that they're dealing with. It may be a bit too much. So to keep from having to offend those people that you're interacting with, you got to know when it's too much. Because it's not just about you. See, some people, they forget about that. It's just, hey, long as I'm comfortable, hey, this is me. Yeah, this is you, but other people, that's them. And when you're interacting, whether you agree to it or not, it's an unspoken rule that you have boundaries in place. Or at least it should be. That's what keeps the shenanigans down. People that tell you otherwise, they have boundary issues. They have boundary issues. They don't understand why would this person think that they could just say this to me? Do you not know that they said this, that, and the third? I'm offended. I found that disrespectful. Or this person, man, they seem too sensitive. I said this, that, and the other, and they were offended. Those are the situations that we're talking about with boundaries. And what you're doing, and you don't realize it. You don't realize it. You're through you being uncomfortable or them being uncomfortable. It's a line trying to be drawn in the sand. That's what's occurring when you're offending somebody or they're offending you. And you know what? Let's put this out there. We're not talking about being overly sensitive or just overly offended. We're just talking about the commonality between you and another individual or many individuals. Your boundaries. And like I said, I want to go back to it and touch on it again because a lot of times people forget that. Oh, it's just who I am. I'm real. The things I say is just 100. Those are the very people, they can't take anything that you're saying. If you do, you got an argument on your hands. Boundaries, people. That's what we're talking about. The key to establishing them. I really think that if you can grasp this concept of not overindulging and assisting and blurring those lines, then you'll be going the opposite direction. You'll be reestablishing boundaries. When you can really back in a little bit. Be a little bit more reserved in whatever it is that you think it's being too much of. Remember, we're talking about you. And if you're not the one that's being invaded, your boundaries being crossed, then are you doing it with others? Are they constantly having to check you, or you find yourself being snapped on and you're like, man, where did that come from? What is it? That's the reason why we talk about bickering, confusion, all this stuff on the channel, because you have to break it down and see, where does this come from? What is this stemming from? It's not just popping up out of nowhere. Do these people have a valid reason on being rubbed the wrong way with something that I said? Am I giving them ample room for me to be rubbed the wrong way because of the way that I'm putting things on display? It's just questions you should ask yourself. And it's just one of the things that I've kind of found with people that do have a problem with boundaries, that they're unaware of. They're unaware of the things that they do. Giving and taking. That's my take on it. My name's Ian Kilimanjaro, that is. Stay encouraged, avoid being discouraged. Y'all have a good one.